Excellencies and distinguished delegates, we can start the session now. Excellencies and distinguished delegates, we shall now take up Agenda Item 3, Private Sector Leadership for Scaling Up Sustainable Business Practices and Solutions in the Asia-Pacific region. Please be informed that the event that Agenda Item 3 concludes ahead of schedule. The afternoon session will adjourn and we will resume tomorrow morning with Agenda Item 4. The document pertaining this agenda item, ESCAP CTIEBI 2/4. The committee will consider the draft decision contained in this document following the delivery of statements. To introduce this agenda item, we will first hear a short presentation from the Secretariat, followed by a statement by the Chair of Circular Economy Task Force of the ESCAP Sustainable Business Network. I would now like to invite Mr. Sudip Ranjan Basu, Chief of Sustainable Business Network Section of the Trade, Investment and Innovation Division of ESCAP, to introduce document ESCAP CTIEBI 2/4.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Very good afternoon, Excellencies, distinguished colleagues, and friends. This is my honor and privilege to present before you Agenda Item 3 on the private sector leadership in scaling up sustainable business practices and solutions in Asia and the Pacific region, ESCAP/CTI EBI 2/4. Over the next few minutes, I'd like to briefly outline the key issues of the document before you. So the first is about the overview of the work that we have done for the last 2 years. The first thing is the document that is in front of you. We discussed the Asia-Pacific Green Deal for Business, which focused on 5 pillars: green energy, green infrastructure and logistics, green finance, green innovation, and circular economy. The Secretariat highlighted the lessons learned, opportunities and initiatives related to these 5 pillars, emphasizing the importance of sharing best practices, exchanging knowledge about sustainability practices, and facilitating technical cooperation to drive private sector towards the achievement of the 2030 Agenda. In terms of the progress since our first session of the committee, the ESCAP Sustainable Business Network has been actively promoting sustainability through various projects and public-private sector dialogues and engagements. The Asia-Pacific Business Forum this year, the 2025, held in Kuala Lumpur, and Madam Chair, very privileged that you hosted us in KL. And that flagship event really provided an opportunity to engage in discussion on sustainability with high-level panels and interactive discussions. Also, the forum adopted the ESBN Kuala Lumpur Business Leaders Declaration on 10th of April. In terms of implementing the Asia-Pacific Green Deal for Business, the document highlighted that there's a central role to providing solution-oriented initiatives and actions in Asia and the Pacific, and also highlighted the significant progress that has been made in areas: number 1, advancing a zero-carbon, affordable and resilient energy system; number 2, building smart, low-carbon, water-secure and climate-resistant cities, infrastructure and mobility; number 3, mobilizing public-private finance for a green transformation; number 4, accelerating and scaling up innovation for sustainable development; and number 5, transitioning to a more secular economy. The other part of the document also focused on the regional forum, especially the ESBN engagement within ESCAP. There are challenges in providing public finance for sustainable development, including regulatory frameworks and policy gaps. Of course, there are opportunities that exist in public-private dialogue and partnership to scale up energy transition, blended finance, and innovation in circularity. Especially, you highlighted few notable progress in the report. Number one, strengthen private sector engagement relating to sustainability and climate action, including over the last 2 years of our work. Number two, enhance strategic engagement, better coordination, and forward-looking policy and operational synergies with private sector. And number three, better align the monitoring of sustainability matrices and impact assessment frameworks within the implementation of the Sustainable Development Goals. With that, in the document, there are 3 issues for consideration, and I'm sure distinguished delegates will discuss that. With that, Madam Chair, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Basu. It was our pleasure to host you on Sustainable Business Network Forum in Malaysia. Hope there'll be many more events as such to come. It is also my pleasure now to invite Mr. Anthony Watanabe, Chair of Circular Economy Task Force of ESBN and Chief Sustainable Officer, Indorama Ventures Limited, Thailand, who will deliver remarks via a video message. May I request the conference officer to play the video, please?
Greetings. My name is Anthony Watanabe. I am the Chief Sustainability Officer of Indorama Ventures, headquartered right here in Bangkok, Thailand. It is my pleasure to address you today at the second meeting of the Committee on Trade, Investment, Enterprise, and Business Innovation. Today, I'd like to talk about one of my favorite topics, that is the circular economy. According to the Ellen MacArthur Foundation, that's the group that coined the term the circular economy over 10 years ago, 45% of global emissions can be addressed through circularity. That's a big opportunity. However, according to another group, Circle Economy, that produces the Circularity Gap Report, we're trending in the wrong direction. In fact, from 2024 to 2023, we've decreased our total circularity by 24%, from 9.1 to 6.9%. So we need to reverse that direction. Right here in Asia Pacific, we have 60% of the global population and 50% of the world's carbon emissions. So this is the battleground where climate change and the circularity will be won or lost, right here in APAC. That's why last year, under the auspices of UN ESCAP, we released a report around the 6 secrets of circularity. Now, of course, they're not secrets. They're market drivers to transform from a linear economy to a circular one. They're things like regulation, innovation, collaboration, education, infrastructure, and finance. These are the levers we have at our disposal to move the market towards circularity for any sector. For this report, we actually looked at 5 sectors here in APAC that are ripe for transformation to circularity. Things like construction, apparel, agriculture, electronics, and yes, plastics. Indorama Ventures, in fact, is the world's largest recycler of PET. We recycle about 600 bottles every second, and we have a target for 2030 to recycle 100 billion bottles every year. We're investing $1.5 billion to reach that target. That's an ambitious stretch target for us. So when we look at these data points and these factors, how do we go forward? How does it determine our agenda and our path forward? Well, that's where SDG 17 gives us some guidance. That's around partnership. Partnership, collaboration offer us a better chance of solving some of these wicked problems around these 5 sectors here in this region. So that's where, under the leadership of UN ESCAP and the Sustainable Business Network, we have a rich array of partnerships across 5 task force areas, many sectors, and many countries here in the region. The task forces under the Sustainable Business Network are infrastructure, energy, innovation, finance, and yes, circularity. So I've had the pleasure of chairing the Circular Economy Task Force for the last year and a half. We produced the report that I mentioned. We pre-launched it at COP29 in Baku and then had a formal launch at the ESCAP headquarters in November. And since then have been promoting the ideas, bringing new people into the fold, trying to understand how we could action some of the concepts and ideas in that report. To further advance this agenda, tomorrow, right here at Indorama headquarters, I'm hosting a meeting of the Circular Economy Task Force of the Sustainable Business Network. That will be a hybrid meeting, bringing in leaders from across the region, across different sectors, to see how can we map out a common agenda for impact for the rest of 2025 into 2026. I'm very eager for that discussion and the partnerships that will flow from it. On your side, any discussion about policy, how we can further incentivize circularity would be wonderful and welcome. So I wish you fruitful meetings and discussions, and thank you very much for the opportunity to address you today.
Thank you, Mr. Watanabe, for your remarks. I'm definitely hopeful that many members of the delegates are actually looking forward to join Indorama's Circular Economy Forum tomorrow. Now let's move ahead to the next agenda item. Excellencies, distinguished delegates, we shall now proceed to country statements for agenda item 3. I would like to urge all speakers to adhere to the time limit of 3 minutes. To ensure that we can hear from all those participating, I also would like to remind delegations that in case of a longer statement, you may only deliver the summary version within 3 minutes and provide the Secretariat with a full statement for sharing through the committee website. I will call for countries who have registered to speak. After we go through the list of countries, delegations in the room may request to speak by raising their country nameplate and will be called to speak from their seat. Is that clear to all delegates? If so, I now open the floor for country statements. The first speaker is from country. Secretariat. Okay, sorry about the technological glitch. Basically, the first speaker would be from the Russian Federation. The floor is yours, please.
Уважаемая госпожа председатель, многоуважаемые делегаты, скоординированная деятельность и налаживание сотрудничества между органами власти и бизнесом и в целом гражданского общества на всех уровнях является важным фактором выполнения целей и задач повестки 2030. В России продолжается расширение масштабов участия частного сектора, направленное на содействие реализации повестки. Передовая мировая практика показывает, что эффективная работа по достижению целей невозможна только за счет усилий центральных органов власти. Задачи актуальны и для местных сообществ. Мы видим, что важным игроком в продвижении устойчивой повестки в российских регионах является бизнес. Составлен индекс устойчивого развития городов, запущена платформа «Умный город», разработаны проекты по внедрению моделей инфраструктурных площадок, направленных на достижение целей устойчивого развития. Россия осознает, что низкоэмиссионное развитие невозможно без активной заинтересованности бизнеса и стремится создавать для него эффективные и прозрачные стимулы. В своей национальной климатической политике Россия придерживается сбалансированного подхода и не отделяет вопросы климата от общей задачи многофакторного устойчивого развития. В 2022 году запущен добровольный углеродный рынок. С 2019 года Россия функционирует национальная система зеленого финансирования, состоящая из таксономии проектов и требований к системе верификации. В 2019 году на Московской бирже запущен сектор устойчивого развития, в который включаются ценные бумаги, соответствующие требованиям национальной системы зеленого финансирования. В этом году, чтобы поддержать зеленые проекты, планируем внести изменения в законодательную базу, которые будут стимулировать банки выдавать кредиты частному сектору. В завершении хотелось бы подчеркнуть ключевую роль государства в создании благоприятных условий для предпринимательства. В бизнес стран региона остается заинтересованным в развитии мер государственного стимулирования. В этой связи хотелось бы отметить роль ESCAP в поиске путей формирования и расширения региональных и глобальных производственно-сбытовых цепочек для участия в них малых и средних предприятий региона. Подтверждаем намерение продолжать оказывать экспертную и финансовую помощь государствам-членам путем осуществления проектов технического содействия за счет российского добровольного взноса. В частности, проекта укрепление производственно-сбытовых цепочек в странах Центральной Азии в поддержку устойчивого развития в цифровую эпоху. Спасибо.
Thank you to the delegation to the delegate from the Russia Federation. Now we shall hear from Philippines, followed by Azerbaijan and India.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The Philippines has proactively initiated 2 programs to drive sustainability among MSMEs, which comprise 99.5% of registered businesses in the country. First, the Department of Trade and Industry has entered into a partnership with the Global Reporting Initiative in 2023 to guide Philippine MSMEs towards sustainable and green practices. This 5-year joint program aims to sensitize 8,000 MSMEs to sustainability reporting workshops and support 300 MSMEs to publish their first sustainability report using tools such as the Spark ESG Self-Assessment Toolkit. For the second initiative, the Philippines and EU's Green Economy Partnership has launched the Green Up to Scale Up grants in 2024 that will help our shared service facilities, or SSFs, with energy-efficient technologies and processes. The Green Up to Scale Up grant offers around 200,000 to 500,000 euros with a total allocation of 1.5 million euros. Our SSF has been a flagship program since 2013, where we provide much-needed equipment for common use of MSME collectives, and we've established more than 3,600 SSFs since then, benefiting over 700,000 MSMEs. Public-private collaborations extend these sustainability efforts to underserved areas. DTI has established numerous SSFs in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao and other marginalized provinces through local cooperative partnerships, thereby providing communities access to energy-efficient and employment-generating production facilities. Furthermore, the Philippine MSMEs are also increasingly visible on regional platforms, with representatives participating actively in ESCAP's Sustainable Business Network, particularly highlighted during the 2024 Asia-Pacific Green Deal Roundtable on the circular economy. In this regard, we welcome ESCAP's continued support through these initiatives in strengthening public-private engagements, in scaling up the sustainable business practices and solutions of Philippine businesses, especially our MSMEs. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Philippines. We now move on to Azerbaijan, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Distinguished delegates, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. The Republic of Azerbaijan places strong emphasis on empowering the private sector, particularly small and medium-sized enterprises, as a vital force for inclusive and sustainable development. In this regard, a comprehensive institutional and policy framework has been established to strengthen entrepreneurship and innovative nationwide. Since 2018, the small and medium-sized business development agencies operating under the Ministry of Economy has played a pivotal role in promoting SME growth and resilience. Through innovative tools and inclusive programs, the agency fosters entrepreneurship across urban and rural areas of Azerbaijan. One of the agency's flagship initiatives, SME houses, deliver public and private sector services to entrepreneurs through one-stop shop model. This model was recently recognized by the OECD Observatory of Public Sector Innovation as an effective and transparent governance approach that strengthens trust between business and government. In early 2025 alone, SME development centers conducted nearly 16 training on financial literacy, marketing, legal compliance, and digital tools, benefiting startups and small enterprises across the country. Additionally, over 2,500 hours of conducting services and 100 business plans development were supported during the same period. The SME Friends mechanism supports regional development by identifying investment opportunities and encourage entrepreneurship. In the first quarter of this year, 29 sectoral meetings reached over 516 entrepreneurs nationwide. Agency also actively fostering innovation through the issuance of startup certificate, which exempt qualified startups from profit tax. To date, 199 such certificates have been issued, promoting to a culture of innovation and tech-driven growth. Furthermore, Azerbaijan promotes sustainable investment through its investment promotion certificates, which provide tax and customs benefits. Support also includes facilitating SME access to retail network, participating in international trade exhibitions, and conducting market research to help business align with consumer needs and environmental standards. Distinguished delegates, the experience of Azerbaijan highlights the importance of institutional coordination, inclusive outreach, and policy innovation in scaling sustainable business practices. We remain committed to regional cooperation and knowledge sharing for further empowerment entrepreneurs as a driver of sustainable development in Asia and Pacific. Thank you all.
Thank you to the delegate from Azerbaijan. Now we shall hear from India.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Excellencies and distinguished guest delegates. India recognizes the critical role that businesses play in driving sustainable business practices and solutions in the Asia-Pacific region. Private sector's innovative capacity, resources, and expertise is essential for addressing the region's pressing challenges on this account. India's private sector has made significant strides in adopting sustainable practices driven by a growing awareness of environmental and social responsibilities from renewable energy to sustainable agriculture. Indian businesses are pioneering solutions that can be scaled up and replicated across the region. India has finalized a circular economy action plan for 10 waste categories: lithium-ion batteries, e-waste, toxic and hazardous industrial waste, scrap metal, tire and rubber, end-of-life vehicles, gypsum, used oil, solar panels, etc. Various ministries on the progress of implementation of these action plans. India, through various amendments, notifications, has incorporated the extended producer responsibility framework in several waste management rules. As per the EPR framework, the producer, importer, or brand owner, original equipment manufacturers who introduces the product in the market are obligated for its environmentally sound management after end of life of such products. EPR regulations require producers, OEMs, to meet the targets for refurbishing, retreating, recycling of end-of-life products. Resource Efficiency and Circular Economy Industry Coalition. The G20 India Presidency launched in Resource Efficiency and Circular Economy Industry Coalition at the 4th Environment and Climate Sustainability Working Group and Ministerial meeting held from 26th to 28th July 2023. Founding members have developed the institutional architecture of the coalition and constituted a steering committee from among its industry members that develop the roadmap work plan of REC EIC and undertake its implementation. Currently, there are 54 members of REC EIC from 10 countries, including Japan, US, Singapore, UAE, Denmark, UK, Germany, Switzerland, Finland, and India. Recently, the 12th Regional 3R Circular Economy Forum in Asia and the Pacific was held from 3rd to 5th March 2025 in Jaipur, Rajasthan, India. The forum was hosted by Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, Government of India, and co-organized by Ministry of Environment, Government of Japan, UN ESCAP, and UNCRD, DSDG, UNDESA. During the forum, the Jaipur Declaration on 3R and Circular Economy, Sustainable 3R and Circular Economy Goals for Achieving Resource efficient, clean, resilient, sound material cycle, and low carbon society in Asia and the Pacific 2025 to 2035 was adopted by the member countries. It aims to act as a policy guiding framework and catalyst for countries to facilitate integration of sustainable consumption and production practices as well as circular
Delegate from
economy.
India, I think time's up.
Just,
Please wrap up.
yeah, just collaboration and knowledge sharing are key to scaling up a sustainable business practices. India appreciates the work of ESCAP on trade policy and facilitation and look forward to ESCAP continued support to the region in this area. India welcomes the efforts of ESCAP on developing database that supports evidence-based policy making, such as the UN survey on digital and sustainable trade
Thank you
facilitation.
to delegate from India.
Also benefited from the development of the online TINA platform. Thank you.
Thank you from the delegate of India. We shall now move forward to Indonesia.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We welcome the inclusion of the agenda on sustainable development under this forum, and we believe that discussion in this area are timely and highly relevant, considering the global urgency to promote inclusive and sustainable economic growth. Indonesia has already incorporated key principles of sustainable development across various discussion and frameworks. Our national strategies continue to align with international commitments, ensuring that environmentally sustainable is integrated into our economic transformation efforts. We highlight the importance of the transition towards the use of clean and renewable energy, which requires medium and long-term investment. Indonesia also recognizes the important role of Asia-Pacific countries in creating an enabling investment climate that can attract greater private sector participation in these areas. Capacity building and other relevant programs for government officials and private sector actors would be highly beneficial in supporting this transition. In this regard, Indonesia encourages ESCAP to continue facilitating member countries through inclusive dialogue, policy recommendations, and technical cooperation in line with the provisions outlined in the draft decision. Thank you.
Thank you to the delegate from Indonesia. If there are no more country statements, are there any more? Okay, if there are no more country statements, I will now open the floor to international organizations. All right, I don't see any. As such, we shall move forward. Excellencies, distinguished delegates, since I see no more requests from the floor, I would like to thank you all for the informative statements. At this juncture, I would like to invite the delegations to consider and comment on the proposed draft decision as contained in document ESCAP CTIEBI 2/4, which reads as follows. The Committee on Trade, Investment, Enterprise and Business Innovation notes the progress made in the engagement of the private sector, including through the implementation of the Asia-Pacific Green Deal for business to integrate the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development through the ESCAP Sustainable Business Network and the Asia-Pacific Business Forum. It also requests the Secretariat to support members and associate members of the Economic and Social Commission for Asia Pacific upon request in strengthening public-private engagements with a focus on sharing best practices, exchanging knowledge on sustainability, and facilitating technical cooperation. Would any delegation wish to intervene specifically on the text proposed, please? I see from the United States. Please proceed.
Thank you, Chair. I'm just trying to pull up my notes here. We had a few edits that we wanted to recommend. Give me 1 second. Well, okay. We'll do it by memory. We wanted, our position on the SDGs within this forum is well known at this point. And so we would like to recommend that we delete we'll start with this, from to integrate through to there, proposed deletion. Okay, including through the implementation of the Asia Pacific Green Deal for business. We would also, actually, and we would like to delete the line before that as well, from including and through business. Oh, actually, you can add back the including through. So practices and solutions, including through the ESCAP Sustainable Business Network. So that would be my request. Thank you.
Thank you, S. Any other intervention? Japan, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We'd like to suggest incorporating the usual caveat that we have. So after, in the last sentence, after upon request, where is that? Within existing mandates and available resources. And then after, in strengthening public-private engagements, comma, as appropriate, comma. Thank you.
Thank you, Japan. Any other intervention or comments? United States?
Sorry, one more. I was going from memory and my memory was not quite perfect. So we would request the insertion of, after progress made, the words by the Secretariat. And then just for grammatical purposes, replace in scaling up to with to scale up. Thank you.
To scale, yeah. All right. Okay, any other comments or intervention? Okay, I see none. So the agenda item 3 now reads, the Committee on Trade, Investment, Enterprise and Business Innovation notes the progress made by the Secretariat in the engagement of the private sector to scale up sustainable business practices and solutions, including through the ESCAP Sustainable Business Network and Asia Pacific Business Forum. It requests the Secretariat to support members and associate members of the Economic and Social Commission of Asia and the Pacific, upon request, within existing mandates and available resources, in strengthening public-private engagements as appropriate, with a focus on sharing best practices, exchanging knowledge on sustainability, and facilitating technical cooperation. Any comments or feedback? Are we all agreeable with the draft decision? Okay, now thank you, distinguished delegates, for your constructive cooperation. I would request the Secretariat to include the text of this draft decision in the draft report to be considered on Friday during the adoption of the report. Thank you. This brings us, before the end of the proceedings of this afternoon, we hear that there is actually a request from the delegates from China for the right to reply. So is this still on? China would like to take the floor.
Okay, I'll take the floor. So China would like to exert the right to reply with regard to the explanation on reciprocal tariffs this morning. So first, China would like to explain that, some countries say that they were, okay, maybe I will use Chinese, maybe. 首先呢，某些国家说他们在国际贸易中吃了亏，但是呢，事实上他们不仅没有在经贸关系中吃亏，相反呢，它是现行多边经贸规则的最大受益者。它既享受了来自全球物美价廉的消费品，又在金融科技等高附加值领域占据明显优势。所以呢，以对等关税来所谓重新校准国际贸易，既不符合事实，也违背经济学常识。其次呢，我们认为对等关税损害了各国，特别是全球南方国家的发展权。世贸组织分析，关税将拉大各国贫富差距，欠发达国家将遭受更大冲击。联合国公发组织指出，关税将制约发展中国家充分参与全球贸易的潜力，阻碍其实现工业部门多样化和现代化进程。我们想再次强调，关税战、贸易战没有赢家。关税政策在全球引发的市场动荡已有目共睹。我们也注意到，关于关税的有关谈判正在进行，并且呢取得相关进展。我们希望国际社会能够相向而行，通过相互尊重、平等对话的方式解决分歧。谢谢主席。
The exercise of the right to reply has been requested. In this connection, I would like to remind all delegations that statements in the exercise of right to reply are limited to 3 minutes for the first intervention and 2 minutes for the second intervention. Now I give the floor to the representative of. Okay. Okay. So as of now, distinguished delegates, I would like to officially close the agenda item 3, but we will be moving on to the draft decision this morning since we have some time. So perhaps we could go on to discuss the decision, please, by the Secretariat. Right, this was happened in the morning. Countries for intervention, please. Japan, please.
Yeah, I just noticed the last part of the paragraph does change what I had initially, and I was wondering whether I can insert after for the parties of, comma, and in relation to, comma.
Thank you, Japan, for the intervention. From the US?
On the insertion of the abuse of tariffs, I'm very concerned by this and concerned to take it back and that I will not get agreement. I have a couple of thoughts on this. One is that if you look at the resolution, let me get the number here, 78-2, and what the primary issues to be addressed by the committee within on macro on trade, tariffs is not one of them. And I think I'm concerned that opening this up then opens us up to putting any list of anything that's even trade related into this issue, into this concept or into this decision. And I don't think that's where most people in the committee want to be in terms of adding a laundry list of trade related issues that could be emerging now or in the future. So I would request, I just wanted to come back to this before I have to send it back to Capital overnight to see if there's any flexibility on behalf of China to withdraw this, this amendment. Thank you.
Thank you to the US. So China, any comments on this? I recognize from Japan would like to make an intervention.
Yes, I forgot to make a point on this one, and I do need to circle back to capital in light of some of the changes that have come about. But I know that with this one, that we would get a concerned reaction. I would imagine it's not just Japan, but a lot of member states, because a lot of countries, I believe, have tariff-related negotiators all concentrated in Geneva. And this is where, regardless of things beyond WTO, they tend to be discussed there, and you have automatically these country delegates going there to deal with these issues. So we have a dedicated body that deals with this, and we are, as we can see here on the floor, we are not equipped here. I don't think neither the Secretariat nor the country delegate has the capacity to deal with this issue. So we do not think that it's very healthy for ESCAP, and nor do we think that it's in line with the TOR 1D that we have cited here. We do think that it would not be very constructive to have this language, and we do plead that to understand that this is probably the right place. The right place to do this is probably in Geneva for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you from the delegate from Japan. What about China, especially related to the abuse of tariffs? I think that's the concern here now.
Okay, thank you, Chair. I just would like to point that China was not meant to add this wording in the beginning, because I know it's the decision should be adopted on basis of consensus, and we should keep it as broad as possible to consolidate all the consensus of all member states to meet all the needs of member states. So that's why when China proposed the draft decision, we we have to take considering all the concerns of member states. So we just put very generic wording that just saying that the trade issues and facilitating challenges, but unfortunately, during the discussion of the draft decision, some colleagues insert quite detailed things. So I assume maybe we will add a laundry list or create a Christmas tree. So why not? I contribute my part to the Christmas tree, so that's why I put it inside. So China could be flexible so long as the other colleague could do the same in the same way. So just want to ask our Japanese colleague on what's your capital instruction on the last sentence of the paragraph. So we want to join the consensus of all members for the interest of the committee session. And also, China may, instead of the abuse of tariff, maybe you could change it to another words. For example, like for in addressing emerging trade issues and facilitating challenges related to trade and investment liberalization and facilitation through, inter alia, the Asia-Pacific Trade Agreement and the framework on blah, 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 blah. Is it okay? Because the committee is doing trade and investment liberalization and facilitation. So I think that would be general enough to satisfy all the needs of all member states. Is it okay? I'll write it. Okay. So where's the typer? Or the
Yeah, I would like to request the delegate from China to repeat that so that the secretariat will get it reflected.
So after the facilitation challenges, right? Okay. Oh, maybe actually after the related to trade and investment liberalization and I think there is facilitation and no end, comma, through, comma, inter alia, comma, then you delete abuse of tariff, then the rest are the same, and delete the inter alia on the line before, I think. Is it okay?
I recognize United States.
Okay, sorry. I'm not sure if that's okay. I'm happy to take things back. I wonder though, just digging into the mandate of this body, if we could just use language from the mandate. Something like if you look at paragraph 2A of, is this 78.2 or 82? 78.2, you could grab some language like, and again, I'm doing this without authorization from capital, so I can't promise anything here, related to international trade and investment as an engine for development, which is verbatim text from the mandate of this body.
Right, so the next part of it, to the US, do we still retain that or? Because it sounds in addressing emerging trade issues and facilitation challenges related to international trade and investment as an engine for development. And then continue back with investment liberalization or?
No, sorry, my proposed edit is in, we would use that instead of the next phrase.
Right, China has proposed the next phrase.
Correct.
And Japan, okay, I recognize Japan. Do you have any comments?
Yeah, so just generally as a principle, it is easier to quote parts of the TOR because that is agreed language. So I think the approach is a good one. But we do think it is not a micro detail citation that we have on these agreements. These agreements are very unique to ESCAP, and only ESCAP can do it. And this is the reason for including it, because this does define the resource priority allocation of the Secretariat. So we think that without this insertion, it leaves the decision text an open book. And frankly, without it, I think we don't really need this decision because you are already continuing to do it. We understand that you're doing it and you're continuing to do it. So I think if we were to create a decision, we can highlight the things that are certainly in line with the existing TOR. Thanks.
Thank you, Japan. So China, are you okay with using the safe text from the TOR?
Excuse me, can you clarify which one is quoted from TOR?
International trade and investment as an engine for development?
Okay.
Oh yeah, Japan would like to intervene again.
Sorry, but for our record keeping to the Secretariat, can you, after that engine for development, can you write the paragraph of 78, Resolution 78/2, paragraph 2A, so that a bunch of us can take that home? Thank you.
Now I seek intervention or comment from China.
My initial thought is that, okay, the agreed language is fine, but the question is how do we connect this sentence with the following one, with the one suggested by our Japanese colleague? So it seems that how do we make the word flows? And also like to ask our Japanese colleague on what's your capital instruction on the last sentence. Is there any like decision on that? Thank you.
Japan, please.
So the problem we saw with this text was that it was like kind of too open and too broad. And we understand that they are, official trade-focused entities, right, in the UN system. They're official trade specific bodies, and the TOR of ESCAP is very specific about where there are existence of specialized agencies. We need to try to avoid duplication. So we think that given how open book this original text was, we felt that delineation would help operationalize the decision for the Secretary, especially in light of the fact that we understand that there is a liquidity crisis going on in the UN system. We want to be very helpful in, allowing the secretary to operationalize in that environment. So this is just a citation on a matter of fact, and we do have strong support from Capital, as you've seen, that we've seen this being incorporated in a lot of agreed resolutions and languages at ESCAP.
Thank you, Japan. China? Oh, I recognize US.
Just, I think the first question the delegate of China asked was how to connect the US proposal with the Japanese proposal. And maybe the best way to do that is to just go fulsome to the agreed upon text, which actually includes references to those agreements. And I can read it out. So my proposal was the first line of 2A, international trade investment as an engine for development, but it continues, including regional cooperative mechanisms and agreements on trade and trade facilitation, such as the Asia-Pacific Trade Agreement and the Framework Agreement on Facilitation of Cross-Border Paperless Trade in Asia and the Pacific. That's the full quote. If you joined those two, then it would just be the TOR, but would connect the two recommendations.
China, you're agreeable to that?
I think the suggestion by our US colleague is fine. So we also want to conclude the discussion on the decision. So I started to raise the question again. So how to deal with the last sentence? How can we solve it? Will Japan agree with the proposal from Russia?
Japan, please. Russia.
Just wondering, just as a procedural way forward, I think it might help to have a huddle session. And can we maybe rejoin after 10 minutes or something like that? Just a suggestion. I think it might be worthwhile, although noting that I do need to get full clearance on capital on all of these issues. I think we all do, but.
Okay, we shall give about 10-minute break so that you can get all the clearance from the capital, and no, not capital, just within the members, right? Okay, so and then we can resume back, yeah. So we shall see you at 3:10. Sorry for the interruption. So the delegates that are huddling there, how long more do you need? About 5 minutes, 10 minutes? Eh? They're not responding. Sorry. Can I get a reply? What time, how long will you be requiring? Japan, China, the US, and Russia? 5 more minutes. So can we hear from those who have been discussing? Anybody that like to intervene? Perhaps Japan, yeah.
So we will share our fruitful outcome, at least on the ground. Of course, we all have to get clearance. So we have, so after facilitation challenges, where was the facilitation challenges? Yeah, there. So delete, no, so after that, delete the inter alia right after that, because we're putting that somewhere else. Oh, related to, so we retaining related to international trade and investment as an engine for development, including, did it? No, so just up to engine for development, so we're retaining that, and then delete up to, oh God, through the, so it's through the, I mean, facilitate, God, through inter alia and then the agreements. Through inter alia and then the agreements. Yes. No, to keep the through inter alia. Yeah. So that's our text for now. But we should keep the citation, the ESCAP resolution 78/2 for people to take home, because that relates to the engine for development. So maybe for ease of read, maybe we can delete the stuff before that.
So shall we get consensus whether you all are okay to the cleanup? And then we still need to go back and get the clearance from the HQ, right? So shall we just clean it up, or we just have to put US and China and who proposed the statement?
Yeah, we can clean up the deleted parts there.
China, you okay to clean up?
Japan to get back in that paragraph can go at the end.
Sorry, even for Russia, we remove the names, huh? Because the other countries have agreed that remove the country names, yeah? Shall we just take out the Japan to get back to, so that we all will have to go back and we, yeah. Right. Thank you so much for the countries and for the intervention. So I shall read back the draft decision now. The Committee on Trade, Investment, Enterprise and Business Innovation requests the Secretariat to continue promoting trade and regional cooperation by supporting members and associate members within existing mandates and resources in addressing emerging trade issues and facilitation challenges related to international trade and investment as an engine for development. This according to ESCAP Resolution 78/2, Appendix 1, Paragraph 2A. Through inter alia, the Asia-Pacific Trade Agreement and Framework Agreement on Facilitation of Cross-Border Paperless Trade in Asia and the Pacific. This includes conducting research and analysis and providing capacity building assistance upon request, especially for the parties of and in relation to those agreements and in line with ESCAP Thor 1D to avoid duplication of efforts. Any other intervention? Are we agreeable to that? Get this cleared from the HQ? Since there's no more intervention, so is that okay anymore? I shall proceed, yeah? Okay. So thank you, distinguished delegates, for your constructive cooperation. I would request the Secretariat to include the draft text of this draft decision in the draft report to be considered for Friday for the adoption, during the adoption of the report. Thank you. This brings us to the end of the proceedings for this afternoon. Thank you all for your cooperation. So if there is no other intervention, I would like now call on the Secretariat to make an announcement.
Excellencies, distinguished delegates, as mandated by the Commission, the Secretariat provides delegations with the opportunity to assess the results and quality of the session through a feedback questionnaire. In this connection, we'd like to request each participant to complete a brief online survey through the link available on the committee webpage under the Overview tab. You'll also see a signage at the entrance of this conference room providing the link to the survey and the QR code. Your feedback will help us improve the quality of services and support to delegations. Thank you for taking the time to complete the survey. Next. Yes. Thank you, Secretariat.
Thank you, Secretariat. On this note, I adjourn this meeting. We shall reconvene tomorrow morning at 10 hours to continue with the proceedings. The chair of tomorrow's morning session will be Her Excellency EAS Vijayanthi, Ambassador of Extraordinary Plenipotentiary and Permanent Representative of Sri Lanka to ESCAP. The meeting is now adjourned. That's funny.